So now, let's move a little bit closer to home. That one was hundreds of miles away. It's a world. Now this one is called Feed by M.T. Anderson. And it's based on humans, earthlings, but it's far in the future, not that far, and they're going to the moon. I'm actually going to read an excerpt from this. Now, before I get started, I do want to let you know that in this excerpt there is some common language, cursing. I'm going to assume that you guys can be adult enough to work with me, okay? So, this is Feed by M.T. Anderson. I miss the feed. I don't know when they first had feeds, like maybe 50, 100 years ago. Before that, they had to use their hands and their eyes. Computers were all outside of their body. They carried them around with them in their hands, like if you carried your lungs in a briefcase and opened it to breathe. People were really excited when they first came out with the feeds. It was all this big educational thing, your child would have all of the advantages, encyclopedias at their fingertips, closer than their fingertips, etc. Now that's one of the great things about the feed, that you can be super smart without ever working. Everyone is super smart now. You can look things up automatic, like science and history. Like if you want to know which battles of the Civil War George Washington fought in and shit. It's more now. It's not so much about the educational stuff, but more regarding the fact that everything that goes on the feed. All of the feedcasts and the instant news, that's on there. So there's all the entertainment. I was missing a feed. Like the girls were all missing their favorite feedcast. This show was called Oh! Wow! Okay. Which has all these kids, like us, who do this stuff but get all pouty, which is what the girls go crazy for, the poutiness. But the braggest thing about the feed, the thing that made it really big, is that it knows everything you want and hope for, sometimes before you even know what those things are. It can tell you how to get them and help you make buying decisions that are hard. Everything we think and feel is taken in by the corporations, mainly by data ones like Feedlink and OnFeed and American Feed. And they make a special profile, one that's kept just for you. I lost my place. Everything, there's a chance, and it will be just yours. Of course, everyone is like, evil corporations, oh, they're so bad. We all say that. And we know that they control everything. I mean, it's not great, because who knows what evil shit they're up to. Everyone feels bad about that, but they're the only way to get all this stuff. And it's no good getting pissy about it, because they're still not going to control everything, whether you like it or not. Plus, they keep like everyone in the world employed. So it's not like we could do without them. And it's really great to know everything about everything whenever we want. To have it like just in our brain, just sitting there. In fact, the thing that made me pissy was when you couldn't help me at all. So I was just lying there and couldn't play any of the games on the feed. I couldn't chat with anyone. I couldn't do a fucking thing except look at that stupid boat painting, which is even worse, because now I saw that there was no one on the boat, which was even more stupid. And it was kind of how I felt, that the sails were up and the rudder was, well, whatever rudders are, but there was no one on board to look at the horizon. Kind of interesting to think about a life where all of the information was just given to you. And they make words up, common language, because they weren't educated anymore. They were only downloading. Let me just put it into my head. Oh, I know what George Washington did. Oh, look, that's what the proclamation of such and such is for. It doesn't allow you to think. It was actually a really good book after I got used to the lingo. Some of it took me a while to go, Bragus, what is that? So, anyway, it was really fun. Let's see here. Lots and lots of pages. Alrighty. Now this one, everyone, you might have seen the movie, and that's okay. Let me go ahead and tell you though, like most things, the book is better than the movie. City of Ember. How many people have seen the movie? The movie was bad. But the book is actually really good. So, has anyone here read The City of Ember before? A few people? Good. So, let's talk a little bit about the City of Ember. The City of Ember was built hundreds of years ago by the builders. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, they've not left information behind until they need it. There are two main characters. There is Dune and Risa, R-I-S-A. So, Lena, L-I-N-A. Different character, different book. So, Lena and Dune are about 14, 15 years old, and they've just finished the last grade. Now, when you guys graduate, you get options. You can go to the military, you can go into the school, you can start working directly, you go to school, you can do lots of things. Well, in this book, you don't get that option. At the last day of the last class of the last year, they come in with a hat. These are the jobs that are needed to make the city that the builders created survive. So you get to walk up and reach into this big felt hat that the mayor has. You get to be in pipe works. You get to work as a messenger. You get to be a tailor. You get to do that for 3 years. You have no choice. At the end of that 3-year cycle, you get another opportunity to reach into the hat and get another job. Some people stick with it all their lives. Other people change every 3 years. The problem with Ember is it's starting to fall apart. Ember has gone years and years and years, and they don't have any renewable resources. So their city's falling apart around them. The lights are going out. They're the only light in the world. People occasionally go out into the darkness that surrounds them, but when they come back, they're crazy. It's nothing but darkness out there. You can't see anything. They don't have flashlights. They don't have torches. They don't have lanterns. So when they leave the city, they go into nothingness. And so they fall into canyons, fissures. They scream and say that there's monsters out there. It's kind of scary not to know what's in front of you. Am I getting ready to fall to my death? Is the monster getting ready to eat me? Then they come back to the city, to the light. So, Dune and Lena have decided something has to change. Lena finds this piece of parchment that the builders left behind, and it's instructions for egress. Does anyone know what egress means? E-G-R-E-S-S. It means to exit or to leave. So there are instructions to leave the city of Ember. But they're in parts because they're so old. They kind of fell apart. So she takes it to the one person who she knows can help her, Dune. She and Dune then go on pretty crazy adventures, get run after by the police, almost get attacked. The lights go out. They're scared they're not going to come back on. Sometimes it's scary just knowing there's only one can of peaches left in this world. City of Ember, the adventure. This is one of 4. It's really interesting? I read this book in a day and a half. Could not put it down. It was just one thing after another.